Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Road to Ruta.com. Crazy days for silver, crazy days for crypto. The future looks so exciting and so terrifying all at the same time. Not so terrifying for silver, but for crypto, they could go anywhere, truthfully. I'll get to that in 1 second. First, let's take a look at silver. The good guys versus bad guys battle. The slam beneath the moving averages didn't work. The bankers weren't able to close out the amount of contracts that they want. Now they're going to let it run up again because there's no more weak hands in silver. It's all strong hands. So it crossed the 200-day moving average just this morning or yesterday at $29.89. Now it's going for the 100-day moving average at $30.78. This is all in computer programs, by the way. There's no free trading in silver, but if you think there is, you're dreadfully wrong. It's a handful of bankers trading 95 to 98% of all the contracts back and forth with each other. That's what sets the price, period. Now here's the problem. Everybody knows it. Everybody who's a sophisticated silver buyer, physical silver buyer, knows it. So when the price goes down below the 200-day moving average, they load up. And India has been showing that all year long. By the way, India is literally going to take out the United States of America with their silver purchases. I believe, from what would happen at the end of the year, that India will have imported more than 300 million ounces. The largest ever done. Once they did 300, and everybody's like, oh my God, India imported 300 million ounces. They did it again. It's going to be right. It's going to be close. It all depends on how much India panicked, thinking we're not going to get the physical silver, so we better take it all now. It dropped below the 200-day moving average right at the end of December. I think the number is only 33 million ounces for December silver imports into India. That will put them over the 300 million. It looks to me like they probably bought, my guess is 40 million ounces. Just from what they've done under the 100-day moving average, and then back here at the middle of the year in February they did 70 million ounces. And look, it was just below. So I think I'm going to go for 50. I'm going to say, and these numbers come out in about a week of the India finance commissioner or whatever his name is. They do a monthly report on how much silver is imported into India. It's going to be big. India needs it. They're going to build out their solar. They want to have 500 gigawatts by 2030, 500 gigawatts, and they're in like 70, 80 gigawatts. Shocking. I know. That's another 500 gigawatts would be probably about, depending on technology, between now and 2030, I would say minus the 70, they're probably right around, let's say, 400 million ounces just for solar. They're going to need just for solar. And that's from here on till 2030. So they can easily get it if the world stays the way it is. I don't think the world is going to stay the way it is. I think the Biden administration has set up Trump for pure chaos. The Biden administration is throwing money, literally throwing pallets of $100 bills to all their friends right now and sucking a hell of a lot away for themselves. I heard 1/3 of Trump's budget when he gets in office has already been spent. Wow. Is it criminal? Of course it is. We live in a criminal world. I have no doubt that the Democrats will probably stop paying taxes. I don't have a problem with that. The misuse of our tax money to fund ridiculous wars with cross-dressers is just shocking that we have to pay for that shit. But they do have the military force of the IRS, and which is scary. So you got to get your physical silver. You got to get your cryptos. Get offline. Get out of their system. Get out. Run while you still can. You should have no stocks, no bonds, very little in the bank, enough to pay bills, and that's it. I'd hang on to your house. You need a place to live. Try to get to a place where, most people can't move out of the city into country living and, do a little survival work. be ready to live off grid type of thing. There are a lot of people who have done that. It's not an easy thing to do, by the way, and most of them have never tried it. I tried it for like a weekend at my dad's vineyard, and I was like, oh my God, this would be so hard. It's just so many things you don't think about when it comes to not using electricity or not having communications. You can imagine a world where you don't know what's happening in the world because communications are down. You don't have internet, you don't have cell phone service, you don't even have Elon's global Wi-Fi, the Starlink, which I love, by the way. I got a mobile one. I got a mobile Elon satellite because we get lousy reception at my dad's vineyard. So I'm like, wow, this thing is awesome. But again, I mean, it doesn't take much to take out all of Elon's satellites. You blow up a couple of them. They're all in low Earth orbit. You blow up a couple of them. It's like, the mousetrap. You ever see the ping pong ball and the mousetrap? Just pretty soon, all the mousetraps are going crazy. That's what would happen if you blew up a couple of Elon satellites. You can't clean up the shit up there, so it's going to have to be dodging all these pieces and parts in the same orbit, the same low Earth orbit. Crazy, I know. All right, but remember, these prices you see in silver, don't look at the price. Look at the gold-silver ratio. Gold-silver ratio is so out of whack, it's laughable. And it's such a great opportunity. Right now, it's 88-1. Literally, they're pulling the metal out of the ground at 7-1. At 7-1. We know the price is rigged. It's been rigged for 170 years. So what should the price of silver be? It should be at a minimum 7-1 with gold, silver to gold. But when you think a little deeper on that, how much of what is being pulled out of the ground in gold is going into vaults? Almost 100%, say 90, 98%. Very little is used in industries. It could be, but it's too valuable, too expensive. What about silver? How much of silver is used in industrial? Now, you could take the Silver Institute's numbers and throw them out. I've shown that they're trash. Go to roadtoruta.com. The first page of the free site, it shows you red boxes where the Silver Institute changes all their numbers. So literally, it's well over 100% of all silver being mined, being dug out of the ground and recycled. And recycled, I believe, is going into the industrial side now. 450 million into just solar panels this year. At least. We don't know the real number, but the Silver Institute and Metals Focus clearly has been lying. Clearly. The Silver Institute is basically two guys. The head of Hecla, who said the silver demand in solar panels right before they released their report was going to be 300 million ounces, and they come up with like 190. Literally, that's the chairman of the board of the Silver Institute. There's like two people there. The other guy, the CEO, has been running it forever, Mike DiRenzo, is just a con man and a liar. He gets all his numbers from Metals Focus. Metals Focus changes their numbers every year, changes historical numbers. So they're all full of shit. My guess, 450, 400 to 500, so I'm at 450 million ounces of silver will be used in solar this year. And we're going to do close to 600 gigawatts. 600 gigawatts. Yes, it's up from let's go to roadtoruta.com. Let's see what we're looking at. Let's see. We're going to hit, I heard the numbers going to be right around the 592. We were 444, 592. And all this, the majority of this is going to be TopCon, which has about 50% more silver than the old PERC units. So it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. At some point, people are going to be going up on their roof and ripping down their solar panels and trying to get the silver out of it. It won't happen to like $500, $600 silver, but it will happen at some point, at some price level. If you knew you had $50,000 of silver on your roof and you're struggling for money, would you rather have the $50,000 or the power for the next 30 years? I don't know. Some people say, screw the power. I'm going to get that silver off my roof. But then the cost of recycling it is going to be, it'll get better over time, but it's outrageous right now. You cannot recycle profitably solar panels with silver less than $100 an ounce. So what happens at $1,000, $5,000? But let's get back to this gold-silver ratio. The gold-silver ratio is sitting at, if you look at the historical on the gold-silver ratio, let's take a little historical. You can see everything before 1965, I would say, is would be closer to where it should be, closer to. And it ranged between 8-1 and 15-1, usually right around 12-1, 10-1. And it all depended on how much silver was above ground compared to how much gold was above ground, because it was money back then. Then the Industrial Revolution came, the Electronic Revolution came, and every ounce of silver has been consumed in electronics. So where does that put us? People are saying there's only like 2 to 3 billion ounces of silver left above ground right now. Everything else is being used up every year. We're not adding to that stockpile. Can maybe 3 or 4 billion ounces be found if you pull out everybody's fillings and in history it's been 60 million ounces have been mined, a third of that out of Mexico, by the way, who's given away the riches of the Mexico should be the richest country in the world. They've been saying it forever, but they have criminals running it. The banking cabal runs Mexico just like they run America. So where does that leave us? In a freely traded market, you shouldn't be looking at the price. The price is futures and options. That is the rig job. That is 100% how they rig all commodity, all stocks, bonds, the foreign exchange. Everything is rigged using derivatives, futures and options. And if you don't believe me, let's listen to the head of the CFTC when silver almost broke through $30 in 2001. Listen to what this jackass says, Rustin Benham, about what stopped silver going over $30. Listen to this.
And in many respects, the resiliency and the market structure of the futures market really were able to tamp down what could have been a much worse situation in the silver market.
Oh, heaven forbid. Heaven forbid silver goes over $30. Oh, what a terrible situation. Who's it a terrible situation for? A handful of criminal banks who are naked short. That's it. Well, at $1,000 silver, it's a terrible situation for everybody on the planet. Why? Because you won't get you can't buy 5 flat screen TVs and throw them away every year. It would cost too much. All these things that we take for granted that silver is a necessity of. Your cell phone, computers, you name it, silver's in there. Yes, it's in small amounts, and it'll take a pretty high price for it to really dig into, for example, the sale of flat screen TVs. You get a good 50-inch flat screen TV for what, $500 these days? It's crazy. A really, really good one for $1,000, and that's got 2 or 3 ounces of silver in it. If it's $1,000, do you care that silver goes up to $50? That's 20. That's say it's 3 ounces. That'd be $60 more. No, $1,060. Not a big deal. If it goes up $1,000 more, yeah, you're going to be paying $4,000 for the TV that you were paying $1,000 for, and that is going to be happening in our lifetime this year. But if those of you who think Trump's going to change this, he isn't. It has to be changed organically. No one is going to be able to press that red button to end the rigging of the system. No one's coming to save us. We're going to have to live through the biggest market meltdown in human history. There will be no stock market. There will be no bond market. There will be no gold and silver markets. There will be no crypto markets open. Everything will shut down, and it's assured in the 3 quadrillion of derivatives that are being traded by these big banks. They call them too big to fail banks because if one of them fails for any reason, the entire system freezes. Everybody, for example, It's a Wonderful Life. Check it out. I know it's just past Christmas. Amy has a rule: I can't watch it after January 1st. I can only watch it in December or between. I think it's in December, but sometimes she'll say between Thanksgiving and December. But no Christmas movies you can't, because it keeps them fresh every year, supposedly. Watch It's a Wonderful Life. Watch what happens when there's a bank run. It happens in a blink of an eye electronically. You will be locked out of your bank account. Just remember that. You will be locked out of your brokerage account. You will be locked out of your Coinbase account. You will be locked out of your Gemini account. You will be locked out of every third-party account. When the banks crash, when one of the too big to fail banks crash, it's over. Everything freezes, and then we start fresh. And how do we start fresh? There's a zillion ways. Ask the XR people. Oh, everybody's going on to XRP. I have never seen such a long, they're in for the long con. Long con. You think any banker would allow XRP holders to control the global monetary system? No. They can invent their own coin. JP Morgan already has, by the way. Maybe the Trump coin. There's a Trump coin out there. I'll get to that one second. Anyway, so yes, silver market's rigged. Amazing time to buy silver. You're still under the 100-day moving average. Buy as much physical silver as you can. Get it in your own possession. Get out of the stock market and get physical silver. And if you're into cryptos are the future. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then? I guarantee you, high volatility. When the banks shut down, most of the crypto exchanges will shut down. The decentralized exchanges, if they really are decentralized, might not have to shut down. But who knows who will be trading what for what at that point in time. All right. Moving on real quick. By the way, the numbers are in for the exchange for physicals from COMEX contracts, COMEX silver contracts, not delivered on the COMEX, but sent over to London for delivery at the LBMA. This year was a record. 1.363 billion ounces of physical silver were traded on the COMEX, sent to London for delivery. And you're wondering how India imports 300 million ounces? That's how it's done. One of the ways. And here's the India numbers. This is from our friends over at Metals Focus. They actually changed November's numbers. So I was, if you've been watching my stuff for long enough, I was perplexed why Metals Focus had huge jumps in the September and October numbers for like double what I had for what India was importing. And they have this little caveat down here. It says they get their source from Indian Customs. That's where I get it. And then they get it from Metals Focus. They get it from themselves. So they screwed up September and October of the last few charts they did. And this month they actually fixed it. So come about January 15th, the numbers will come out. They usually put this chart out 3 or 4 days after. And it'll show probably over 300 million ounces imported. And interesting, all December, look where they came from. China. Wow. In bar form. China. That's crazy. Well, that's in Germany. Germany also. China and Germany. Interesting. Why is Germany sending all its silver to... is there a German exchange or something that specializes in silver? Who knows? Who knows what's going on? And who knows where these numbers came from? Absolutely unknown. And Metals Focus pretends that they know, but 99% chance they don't. Okay, let's talk cryptos real quick. Yes, cryptos are going to go freaking through the roof in the future. They might right now. You might think it's going through the roof. What are my number one? It's not my number one is not Bitcoin. It's not Ethereum. It's Theta. Theta. You use Theta. Theta is a use case type of crypto. When the tech investors, which are the largest investors in the world now, understand what Theta has invented and has the patents for when it comes to decentralized AI, whoo doggy, they're going to get on board because Google's on board, because it's Amazon Web Services is already on board. Azure, the Microsoft Web Services are already on board. Samsung, Sony, all these are partners with Theta. And I think T-Fuel is even more undervalued than Theta right now. I think that ratio will probably end up between 10 and 15 to 1. And right now it's 35 to 1. So it's very volatile. That's all I have to say. And there's a lot of T-Fuel out there because a lot of the big guys like Samsung, Sony, and all that do a lot of the Guardian node work, and they earn T-Fuel that way. So we will see. We will see which one does better, but both are going to do extremely well. Even T-Drop should do well when the NFTs kick in again. Okay, but here's what I want to tell you, crypto investors. Don't think that crypto is not immune from market rigging. It is 100% rigged. Using the same futures and options bullshit that they use for silver and gold and all the stocks. Do you remember this guy? Trump's former CFTC chair eyed for the crypto czar role. Crypto dad Chris Giancarlo has informed transition team he is open for the position. Chris Giancarlo, the same Chris Giancarlo in 2017 that worked with the Trump administration to rig and destroy the crypto market. To slam, not destroy forever. It was going too fast, and he even said it. He said it. That's exactly what they were doing. And that's what he plans to do if he's the crypto czar. So don't get too excited, crypto people. If you don't believe me, here's an article. Trump administration popped the 2017 Bitcoin bubble, ex-CFTC chairman says. That's Chris Giancarlo. His daughter got into it, so he got all into it. And I guarantee you, he told his daughter to sell her Bitcoin because they were going to pop the bubble. Trump administration acted to deflate the Bitcoin bubble of 2017 by allowing the introduction of futures products, a former official said Monday. That's the same thing that Rustin Benham, the head of the CFTC, said about silver. We use futures and options to control the market. Chris Giancarlo said, one of the untold stories of the past few years is that the CFTC, the Treasury, the SEC, and the National Economic Council director at the time, Gary Cohn, believed that the launch of Bitcoin futures would have the impact of popping the Bitcoin bubble, and it worked. Voila. If that's not an admission, did you know that it's illegal for futures and options to set the price of any commodity under commodity law? It is. It's illegal. But hey, who cares about the law, right? He goes on to say, we saw a bubble building, and we thought the best way to address it was to allow the market to interact with it. That is bullshit. If you allow the market to interact with it, let it go. Let the market be the decider, not the CFTC. This is a lie. Chris Giancarlo, this is a lie. We saw a bubble building, and we thought the best way to address it was to allow the market to interact with it. The market was functioning just fine. As we can tell now, Bitcoin's up at 100,000. What you did was you artificially popped an undervalued asset. It was still undervalued when you popped it in 2017. Way undervalued. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at, I think it was December of 2017 that the futures and options came out, and let's take a look. 2017. Right. So they saw it going up to $20,000. There we go. It was at $12,000. It went up to $19,000. So in 2017, the CFTC and the Trump administration, the Treasury people over at Trump, told themselves, oh, it's a bubble. It shouldn't be valued this high. We need to throw futures and options in to pop that bubble. And now everybody who got kicked out of their positions because they were getting all excited about Bitcoin are now coming back and saying, holy shit, it was undervalued back then. Now it's at 100,000. I shouldn't have sold. Why did you sell? Because this jackass popped the bubble. Mr. Trump, you popped the bubble. You rigged the market. We cannot have a free market, a free country. You cannot be free people without a free market. This is not free market trading. This is artificial rigging. And I want to know who front run this whole thing. I guarantee you he told his daughter to get out of Bitcoin before they popped it. Because his daughter was all into it. What else did he say? If you don't have that derivative, then all you've got are believers, and it's a believer's market. So what? If you don't believe, go away. Go away. Don't buy any if you don't want to participate. The CFTC staff handled it strictly on procedural grounds, but at the leadership level, I communicated with Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and NEC Director Gary Cohn, and we believed that Bitcoin futures should go forward. It would allow institutional money to bring discipline to the value of the cash market, Giancarlo told the CoinDesk. And that's exactly what happened. And he goes on to say, coming out of the 2008 financial crisis, the legit criticism of regulators was along the lines of, where were they during the expansion of the real estate mortgage bubble? And why didn't they take steps to pop the bubble when they could have? That is artificial manipulation of a market. Free markets are volatile. Free markets should be allowed to be free markets. If they aren't allowed to be free markets, that's not capitalism, my friends. We're not living in a capitalist world. I think get rid of all the regulators. Fuck them. Get rid of them all. Get rid of them all now. Speaking of rigging, see this, I don't have a problem. BlackRock ETF sells 3,510 Bitcoin worth $3.3 billion, trying to slam the price. I don't have a problem with that. They bought them. They can sell them. They can dump them. But see, that's the thing. If they're using futures and options, they're dumping them without dumping them. 10 to 1, they bet on this move. 10 to 1, I want to analyze BlackRock's books for the end of the year to see exactly what futures and options position was before they slammed it. If they put all these shorts on before they dumped 3.5 thousand Bitcoin on the market, that's illegal market manipulation. But does the CFTC look at that? No. It's BlackRock. Stand back, Bix. Don't worry about it. Cryptos are quickly turning into just a rigged market as our regular markets. Here's JP Morgan. The debasement trade into gold and Bitcoin and gold is here to stay, says JP Morgan. He usually do the opposite of what JP Morgan says, so who knows what's going to happen with all that bullshit. Jamie Dimon belongs in jail, by the way, for many reasons, especially the Epstein reasons. They call him Jamie Demon. Horrific human. It's very scary shit. All right. That's stuff on solar. But again, the Trump family now has released, Trump family gets 75% of crypto coin revenue, has no liability, and new document reveals. So the Trump family has released the World Liberty Financial coin, crypto. I don't know what the use case is or anything. Anybody can, create a crypto. It's not hard to do. I want to know where in the legal framework they got the okay to do this. Did they get the proper okay from the SEC and the regulators to create out of thin air? I doubt it, since it was during the Biden administration. So what did they do? They just made it anyway. Well, who else? What about all the people who did that before? I mean, Reggie Middleton was working with the SEC, and they shut him down. They went behind his back. So I think when Trump gets in, I think the number... Oh, by the way, this Trump family crypto 100% violates Reggie's patent. 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to Reggie and say, hey, we want to do this thing. We didn't know you had the patent. Here's 2% or whatever percent of the revenues, gross revenues, or however Reggie wants to price it. It's his technology. Everybody's going to have to go to Reggie. And I think this puts the Trump people kind of front row in that situation, because it clearly violates the Reggie Middleton patent. It's going to be a crypto bank, and it's going to do crypto DeFi stuff. That is 100% violation of the patent. So is XRP, by the way. 100% violation of the Reggie Middleton patent. It even talks about cross-border transfers using all the digital stuff in one of its examples. And yes, the Reggie Middleton patent was originally filed back in, I think it was 2013. Here it says 2015. There was a couple of them. The original, I think the original was 2014 right here. Oh, there's provisionals. He invented it in 2013. I think he filed the patent in 2014, long before anybody even thought about filing a patent for peer-to-peer capital market transactions. But yeah, it's an amazing patent too. If you read it, you read the all the examples and scenarios, it literally covers all of DeFi, all smart contracts. This is done. He got this patent filed before Ethereum did anything. most everything falls under the Reggie Middleman patent that came after. And it's not Reggie's fault. It's the SEC's fault for stopping him from enforcing his patent early on. And then after they threw him in jail, after they froze 98 million of the 100 million tokens, then they approve his patents. Something's going on in the background. Yeah, you're going to want Veritasium tokens, but they're almost impossible to get now. Because there's no real good exchange they're trading on. And the volumes let's take a look at the volume. It's trading at $25. Look at the volume. $731. And look what happened. With $700, it jumped from $25.56 to jump 50 cents on only $700. There is no volume. There is no exchanges. Where is this traded? There's one exchange. Trade Ogre. I don't know it. I don't know if you can pull coins off of that. I don't know. Those of you on the road to Ruta have been long enough. You probably got one Veri token. We used to give out Veri tokens because Cliff was probably right. In Cliff's data, it has him, the U.S. government going to Reggie Middleton as the shit falls apart. There'll be no stock market open, no bond market. All these criminal middlemen. And they'll go to Reggie and say, hey, can we use your technology to start up again? I would, in that scenario, I would say probably the 98 million of the 100 million Veritasium tokens will be given back to Reggie. They are not gone. They weren't burned. They are frozen, and Reggie has one of the keys to the multi-sig wallet. So very odd times to be. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Shit's going to fall apart, and you're going to be there to invest in the right place and get yourself free and clear of the criminals that run our lives today. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. This is Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. You want to join the private road, lots of good private road stuff. Go to roadtoruta.com, click on subscribe today. We're currently giving away 5 Theta, 50 T-Fuel, 500 T-Drop, all loaded on paper wallet. You don't have to be crypto savvy. We mail these to your front door. You take it, you stick it in your safe with your silver, and you wait for the shit to fall apart. And then rebirth, the new high-tech future that Cliff saw coming real fast. It's coming real fast. So that's it. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.